Hello. Ooh, I'm like way to the side here. Maybe? Okay. Anyway, hello, I'm Melissa. Today I'm going to review Autumn in My Heart. Excuse me while I eat a snack. Okay, so Autumn in My Heart. I'm going to tell you some things, but it's not a real spoiler because literally that's the whole show is about. It's a romance, right? I like that they actually classify this as a melodrama because it is. It is a melodrama. What we have here is our two mains. Get ready for it. I just can't, like, the premise is just, they're brother and sister, only they're not actually biologically related, okay? What happened was, we had a switched at birth scenario, right? So the daughter was switched with another little girl baby at the hospital. They were born on the same day. And so she grew up in this home with this guy as her brother. And when she's about 14 or so, something like that, the secret comes out. And then there's this terrible ridiculousness that happens, and then fast forward, and the rest of the show is like 10 years later, right? So, yes. And I mean, the whole drama is that there is even a romance between the two siblings who are not actually related. I'll just let you know how I feel about it, and then I'll do the rating scale and all that. By the way, this was a recommendation by a person who's watching the channel. Sorry, I have long legs. I've been like swinging my feet and I kicked the table. Okay, Octopus 5. You recommended this to me. And it's actually a very famous show. I have heard of it before. And I had thought about watching it because I'm a fan of the two. But I am not a huge fan of melodramas because I already feel too much for drama characters. Like, this isn't real life, and I still cry about everything. So melodramas is like, man, do I really want to go there? Do I just want to be miserable for like an entire show? I have to be in the mood. So, but I watched this upon your recommendation, Octopus 5. And you read the synopsis so you know what it's about. You know that it's going to be kind of awkward because the two siblings are in love, but the non-siblings are in love. For me, I was like, okay, I can deal with that because obviously it's going to be when they're adults. Like, in my head, I thought it was going to be this whole situation where they meet again years later, they fall in love, and then they find out that, oh my gosh, you were my brother or whatever. So, semi-spoiler, that's not what happens. That's not how it goes. So that was my main issue. Even like the way it played out, okay, fine. You know, you guys meet and you're instantly, no. No, I'm not okay with it. I lied, I'm not okay with it. Why? Because it's the whole, okay, I'm just gonna spoil this for you. Just, if you don't wanna know what I'm gonna say, I'll put a thing and you can skip to this part and I'll get to the friendliness scale and all that stuff. Here's why I'm not okay with it. Because in the beginning, when they're young, right, this is like pre them finding out they're related, they're already a little bit weird about like how they are with each other, which I was not expecting that. I thought it would be like, and no, there's nothing like unpure happening, but they're just like a little, there's like these little things. It's like foreshadowing, I guess, but I'm like, nah. I wanted to punch my brother in the face like every day. This was not a thing that was happening. Now we're great friends, but like when we were that age, nah. Like this is your sibling, why? Anyway, them being adults and liking each other like didn't bother me that much. It was like super awkward, but I think I felt it was more awkward because of what happened when they were younger. So, spoiler, essentially as time goes on, we find out that basically, like the second that they had to leave one another is essentially when like they started liking each other. I don't know. It was like it shows her experience as a kid after they were separated, and she like was in love with him. And I'm like, no, because you only know him as your brother. And now you're technically not related, but like you still, that was your relationship, was that he was your brother. And now he's like the love of your life. Like, what? Like, no. And the same with him. And I would have enjoyed it better if they like came back together as like with that sibling relationship, that feeling, and been like, oh my gosh, I've been looking for you everywhere, like I'm so happy to see you, and then just end up spending a ton of time together and then realize like, hey, like we're not related, like, and then be attracted to one another instead of how it kind of played out. So whatever, that's just me. I will not talk about much else. So the whole drama is circulates around them finding one another as adults and how they navigate their feelings for another and everyone's expectations and other people involved, like other romantic interests involved. It's like a love square, and the parents and all of that. And then of course there's something else thrown in there. That's why it's a melodrama, because it's got to be like beyond like the normal amount of drama. It has to be like exceedingly dramatic and sad. So be ready for that. You will have all the feels. I will also say this is from 2000, so it's dated. You get all the cliches. And yeah, I don't even know. It's good stuff. I have an infograph that I will show you. What's in a Korean drama, you ask? Well, asperusual.com provided this excellent graphic, and I'm going to show you what's in this one. Okay, staring longingly at each other. You know, this drama might have invented that for this drama it should be like, you know, at least half or 3/4 of like the entire pie chart. The other thing, baby swap, yeah, that's the entire point of the show, and a life-destroying secret. Because at first they try to keep it a secret and then it just so what do we have here? Mothers fainting from disapproval of prospective son or daughter-in-laws. Now, as you know, in the synopsis, this is not quite the normal thing, but we do have some mothers fainting because of this whole relationship situation. Uncontrollable sobbing surprisingly doesn't happen. That was just me. Well, this does happen at the very beginning. I lied. Let me fix this. Okay, so now we have added uncontrollable sobbing, and I did half of it because really there is crying throughout, but the crazy amounts of crying is at the very beginning. And then there's just intermittent crying, and it's like just sad crying, not uncontrollable sobbing, not like the loud type of cry. And literally everybody dies? Maybe? I don't know. You'll have to watch to find out. Okay, that is what is in this Korean drama, Autumn in My Heart. So, for the user-friendliness scale, like if you're completely unfamiliar with Korean dramas, I don't know where I would put this because I think it depends on your personal preference for like what type of drama that you like. I think that this is not anything, if you're into this sort of storyline, you might really enjoy it. But it's not the same as like American soap operas that have similar storylines. It's way less dramatic, and keep in mind that like in Korean culture, especially since this is almost 20 years old, it's very conservative. Yeah, just don't expect there to be a lot of like physical interaction between anybody, because it doesn't happen in this drama. Yeah, so would I recommend it? Again, I feel like it's one of those things where it's kind of like a rite of passage. Like, you have to watch it because it's like a cultural icon. And so it's not my favorite. I do not enjoy melodramas most of the time. It was also pretty slow going. So there was some like directing and like story development stylizations that were not like my favorite way to experience this story. Not that it was bad, it's not like bad or anything, it's just like a personal preference, you know. I was like, oh my gosh. And now every time I hear this song, I'm gonna be traumatized. So the slowness was a little bit much for me. I thought it took a little bit too long to progress, especially at the beginning. After that, it was like, okay, like a normal, like dramatic things that are gonna like get in the way of the development. That's like part of the development. But at the beginning, well, not the very beginning, but like at the beginning of adulthood, that transition I thought took a little bit too long for me personally. And yeah, I will not talk about the rest of it. Maybe once you're like into Korean dramas, like go back and watch it. You know, it's like iconic, you know, you just have to watch it just so that you know what it was and, you know, where some of the stuff came from. And yeah, really, I think this was like a starting point for a lot of these actors, and they're all very successful. Am I forgetting something? The feels, you're gonna feel all the feels. Feel-o-meter, you will feel all the feels. You're gonna be mad. Actually, the one feel that you don't feel is like the happy feel. You're not gonna feel that. Nah, that doesn't happen. I mean, there's a few times where I'm laughing at like side characters or certain situations, but essentially the whole thing is just like where you're like, why? And yeah, I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. I'm so scatterbrained today. I think I'm still digesting food. It took me too long to eat, so like, I'm just like, meh. I waited too long to eat my lunch. So, anyway, I think you should watch it once you are a seasoned drama fan. Because I don't want this to deter anyone from watching Korean dramas, because this is quite different than what how dramas are now. But it's like the same, you know, it's kind of fun to watch. I love watching old stuff. I watch old stuff all the time, but I just like watching how the overarching like themes and stylizations and like things change as a society and culture kind of like change. So it's pretty fun. This is a good one to when you want like retro vibes. Go watch this. Yeah, it's just funny thinking about it right now. From this type of drama to like Boys Over Flowers type of drama to like current dramas, and to see that shift in like style and culture. Anyway, I will now also upload a video of all the emotions I experienced. This is for you, Octopus 5, because why? Why did you do this to me? So, I don't remember what I talk about. It's just me crying, basically, and being annoyed. That's the whole video. Look forward to it. Also, keep watching dramas. Bye!